A huge Trump supporter is now under investigation. This case is a little bizarre. Is this retaliation for Donald Trump being elected, or is there something more going on with his contract with the Department of Defense? You check it out.
Federal agents raided grocery magnate Francis Alfred Alfie Oaks III's North Naples home, an Immokalee produced packing plant, carrying out boxes all day and through the night November 7th. The raid involving the U.S. Secret Service, Defense Criminal Investigative Services, and IRS occurred a week after Oaks' wife, Deanne, was served with foreclosure papers for the second time on a $4.1 million federal farm loan, according to a lawsuit filed October 14 that seeks $2.78 million from the couple and Oaks Farms Op. They face seizure of collateral, including farm equipment and crops, if they didn't pay the amount they defaulted on by August 30. Federal agencies wouldn't say if the raid involved the foreclosure or $18.1 million in U.S. Department of Defense contracts Alfie Oaks has been paid since 2008 that involved produce, dairy food, and eggs. I can confirm that the law enforcement arm of the Department of Defense, Office of Inspector General, conducted law enforcement activity yesterday at 925 New Harvest Road in Immokalee. We have nothing further to add at this time, spokesperson Molly Halpern said. The Secret Service said only, "We are unable to provide comment as the U.S. Secret Service will not confirm the existence or the status of an investigation." Alfie Oaks didn't respond to calls or texts seeking comment, but left the South Florida produced packing house in his Royal Blue Range Rover that afternoon, telling a Wink News reporter, "Go Trump." When asked what agents were doing there, he told her, "Everything is all good." Later, at his home, he told another Wink News reporter, "Go Trump, fight, fight, fight." Alfie Oaks' lawyer, Stephen Bracci of North Naples, didn't return a call or email seeking comment. Attorney Ryan Mittauer, of the Lyles firm in Jacksonville, said Farm Credit of Florida ACA's pending litigation is not related or connected to any known lawful enforcement activity or investigation. Local Republicans speculated the raid targeting Oaks, a staunch supporter of former President and current President-elect Donald Trump and former state GOP committeeman, was politically motivated. Oaks, who owns seed-to-table Oaks Farms and Food and Thought and other businesses, paid for 2 buses to drive Trump supporters to the U.S. Capitol to protest the 2020 election results a day before the January 6, 2021, insurrection, and several were later arrested. "We know that he was raided. They will try to destroy him like they did with General Michael Flynn and Roger Stone," Kathy Mayu, secretary of the Collier County Republican Executive Committee, said in an email, referring to 2 men previously investigated by Special House Counsel Robert Mueller, imprisoned and pardoned by Trump in 2020. "Just pray. They will use these next few months to do whatever they can before they are fired." Federal agents swarmed the Oaks home on Santa Cruz Court in the villages of Monterey and one of his businesses, South Florida Produce, Thursday morning. Florida Highway Patrol assisted with securing the scene. Agents walked in and out wearing gloves and carrying paperwork and boxes. While at his home, they left with paperwork, boxes, and a computer after Deanne Oaks let them in. They left his home in the afternoon but remained at the packing house. Local business owner Danny Gonzalez, former Immokalee Chamber of Commerce president and Immokalee's unofficial mayor, said agents were still there when he drove home from work at 8:30 p.m. SIS typically investigates fraud, bribery, and corruption cases involving the DoD to ensure federal money is properly spent. It also stops cybercrimes and hacking, investigates terrorism, prevents the illegal transfer of sensitive defense technologies to nations and criminals, investigates companies using defective parts in weapons systems and military equipment. Federal records show Oaks Farms Food and Distribution Services, LLC received $18.1 million in Department of Defense contracts since 2008, 21,065 transactions involving produce, eggs, and dairy products, with the largest payments occurring in 2021, followed by 2022 and decreasing through this year. The awarding agencies were the DoD Department of Justice and the Defense Logistics Agency, and the Bureau of Prisons were listed as sub-agencies. There were 2 other small DoD contracts to Oaks Farm and Distribution Services, LLC. All add up to $36.3 million for fruits, vegetables, and perishable foods, with $3.3 million already paid to Oaks, federal records show. In October 2022, Oaks Farms Food and Distribution Services won a 5-year $238.5 million DoD contract with Defense Logistics Agency Troop Support to deliver fruits and vegetables to USDA-supplied schools and Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps and Coast Guard installations. The foreclosure lawsuit, filed in Collier Circuit Court by Farm Credit of Florida, says Oaks Farms Incorporated and the Oakesies borrowed $467,500 from Florida Federal Land Bank Association on December 28, 2016, a loan modified in October 2018 and again in December 2018, when it was assigned to Farm Credit of Florida. Oaks Farms Op LLC, 925 New Harvest Road, was added as a borrower and the amount was increased to $4.1 million. 6 properties, including crops, 114 pieces of equipment, machinery, and fixtures, were used as collateral. 925 New Harvest Road, farms at 7,455 and 7,526 Sanctuary Road, crop land at 1260 Deer Run Lane in Naples and 6,157 Pringle Lane in Immokalee, and a packing plant at 837 East Main Street in Immokalee. The collateral includes everything in all buildings, such as doors, windows, cabinets, carpeting, beds, and drapes. Equipment and crops on a Farm Oaks leases, Half Circle L Ranch, which straddles Collier and Hendry counties, also was used as collateral, as were crops and a storage facility at Gargiulo produced property that he uses. The lawsuit also lists Synovus Bank as a defendant due to another loan Oaks obtained for Oaks Farms on Davis Boulevard, which was flooded by storm surge after Hurricane Ian on September 28, 2022. The farm loan matured on January 1 and wasn't paid. In May, the couple delivered a forbearance agreement to Farm Credit of Florida. The 1-month agreement paused payments, allowing the couple to seek refinancing to pay off the loan. The lawsuit and summonses served on the couple in October were the last step before seizure. Oaks was the state Republican committeeman but couldn't run in this year's August primary because he filed the wrong forms with the Supervisor of Elections office shortly before the noon June 14 deadline. He's known for his heavy political activity and for endorsing a slate of candidates. During the pandemic, Oaks Farms Incorporated received $3.2 million in federal payment protection loans through Synovus Bank for payroll expenses, according to U.S. Small Business Administration records. Companies and nonprofit organizations that receive PPP loans may have loans forgiven if they meet certain criteria, including not laying off employees during the loan period. Applicants must attest that the loans are necessary to continue operations. The loan was forgiven and never had to be repaid. He received 2 payments, one for Oaks Farms Market LLC to retain 146 retail jobs, and another to help Oaks Farms Incorporated keep 355 farm workers on payroll. His loans were among 8,845 PPP loans in Collier that saved 7,216 jobs during the pandemic. In 2020, he sued Collier County over its pandemic mask mandate, calling it unconstitutional and invalid. He allowed shoppers to his stores to come in without masks. A federal judge dismissed his lawsuit in February 2023. He also filed a federal lawsuit against the Lee County School Board, the superintendent, and others after the board terminated his food supply contract in June 2020 after he posted on Facebook that the pandemic was a hoax and cited his lack of sympathy for the death of George Floyd, a black man killed by a Minneapolis police officer in 2020, calling Floyd a criminal. Oaks contended the termination violated his right to free speech and Florida Sunshine Law, but a federal judge dismissed his lawsuit in October 2023, ruling his Facebook comment involved a matter of public concern. He still has 2 pending lawsuits filed last month. New York-based Seedway LLC, a seed provider with 2 Florida warehouses, sued over $384,333 in unpaid products. The lawsuit says Alfie Oaks, Oaks Farms and employee Stephen Veneziano owed payments by December 31, 2023. Another lawsuit was filed against Oaks Farms Food and Distribution Services LLC, 4206 Mercantile Avenue, by an employee whose wife had a baby in August and he was allowed out on family medical leave, but the baby experienced complications and he asked to return to work on September 18, but Oaks terminated him September 14, saying there was no more work for him. It's not the first time Oaks properties were raided. In July 2014, state agents raided Incredible Fruit Dynamics at 4206 Mercantile Avenue and arrested 105 workers for fraudulent documentation, use of personal identification, identity theft, and workers' compensation fraud. Oak said he had no knowledge of their fraudulent paperwork, but workers said he was aware. The state had begun investigating workers' compensation fraud a year earlier when an Incredible Fruits Dynamics employee sought medical treatment for a job-related injury and told his attorney he'd used a false identity and paperwork to get hired. Oak said at the time he purchased the company and kept its longtime employees and never knowingly hired an undocumented worker, which the State Division of Insurance Fraud Law Enforcement Operations confirmed.
Wow, just wow. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is retaliation? Is this related to the Department of Defense contracts? Or is this related to some type of corruption? This is interesting. I've been at Seed to Table before. I think it was a wonderful establishment. And I know that Alfie Oakes has been a staunch Trump supporter. And Donald Trump just happened to win. And we know how they like to persecute anyone and everyone willing to step up and help Donald Trump out. Is this just another victim? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. God bless.